judge me. And I'm so happy you're the rhythm of my rhyme. You and I together will stand the test of time.
You know how to love me.
Sure you do.
You know how to make it right.
So yes,
You know how to love me.
there's no denying.
Sweet as the morning light.
Sooner or later, I knew you'd come my way. You're welcome to my love. Just promise that you'll stay. You know how to love me
Right in a special way.
You know how to love me tonight. All I wanna say, you know how to love me. You're the real and I feel never go away. See it's believing. Don't you know you're a dream come true? Ain't nothing deceiving about the way that I'm loving you. Yeah,
You know how to love me.
sure you do.
You know how to make it right.
So nice,
You know how to love me.
there's no denying.
Sweeter as the morning light.
Nothing's forever. That's what people say. You're welcome to my love. Just promise that you'll stay. You know how to love me
Right in a special way.
You know how to love me tonight. All I wanna say, you know how to love me. You're the real and I feel never go away. See it's believing. Don't you know you're a dream come true? Ain't nothing deceiving about the way that I'm loving you. Yeah,
You know how to love me.
sure you do.
You know how to make it right.
I can feel
You
it.
know how to love me.
There's no doubt about it.
You know how to make it right.
I can feel
You know
it.
how to love me.
There's no denying.
You know how to make it right. You know how to love me.
Good evening. How's everybody? I can't hear you. That was a little light. Good evening. How are we? Welcome to the 100th Centennial anniversary of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. I'm your host tonight, Coach Willie May. One more time, give it up for Angelina Hightower and the unit. You're going to hear from them a little bit more tonight. And guess what? This is a celebration tonight. So don't hold back. The dance floor will be open. We got great food, and we got some great speakers as well. And we are glad that you're here celebrating 100 years of the Urban League of Eastern Mass. And let me tell you, it's going to be all that and then some. Sit back and relax. We got some speakers coming your way. And oh, yeah, entertainment a little bit later. All right. At this time now, I'm going to bring up a young man who really doesn't need much of an introduction because he has been the Centennial Gala's Committee Chairman for this great, great event. He's from South Carolina, also from UPS for 32 years, and he's here to bring some remarks. Let's welcome Mr. Gary Caraway. Gary.
Good afternoon, good evening. Okay, I'm a person, I'm in sales at UPS. I'm the director of sales for UPS. And one of the things that we do is we believe in having lots and lots of energy. So when somebody was to say good evening, the expectation would be that you would hear something in return. So I'm gonna try it again. And we wanna have lots and lots of energy. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much. Now I can speak. My name is, as Coach May says, Gary Caraway. I'm from UPS, but I had the humble privilege this year of serving as the chairperson for the Centennial Committee, along with a very capable committee that worked very closely with me, along with our chairperson. I just want to take a minute just to say thank you so much for all your support for the Urban League. Thank you so much for coming out this evening, for braving the weather to come to share with us, to actually show how the community collaboratively could work together to make it better for all. As you know, the mission of the Urban League is all about empowering people, those that are impoverished, those that need employment, those that need educational lift-ups, if you will. And so one of the things that we try to do as members of the board, as well as the staff of the Urban League, is to make those things possible. And it will not be possible without your support. So I just want to say thank you so, so much. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my staff, for thanking the committee that worked so closely with me, as well as my family for enduring the last several months of the committee work with me. So we hope the evening so far has been good for you. Have lots of great food you'll enjoy, nice wine, nice music. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the evening. Thanks again for coming, and we look forward to seeing you this evening.
All right, Gary, thank you. You see what Gary did? We want that energy level right there. And I know y'all can do it. Y'all with me? All right. All right. So we have another person that's going to come up and give us some remarks. And let me tell you, William Watkins, he's from the Workforce Development here with the Urban League of Eastern Mass. So let's welcome William to the stage. Welcome. All right, Big Will.
Good evening. I only heard this half of the room. Good evening. All right. My name's William Watkins. I'm the Director of Workforce Development for the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. And for over a year, I've been looking at the archives of this great institution. And I wanted to find out who were the people who was responsible for setting the course to us getting 100 years old. And I could tell you that I found some outstanding people who thought that it was perfect and right for a diverse group of people to come together. One thing many people may think about the Urban League is that, especially in this day and time, we think about the Urban League helping just African Americans. But the Urban League, when it opened its doors, it started with a diverse group of people. The first president of the board was the great-grandson, Robert Tree Payne. And he had a great relationship with Eugene Knickle Jones out of the national office. And they brought in John Moores. We know John Moores from Moores and Cabot. But Eugene Knickle Jones and John Moores had a very great relationship. And they thought that it was perfect and right to have an affiliate here in Boston. And knowing all of the work that has been done over the 100 years to get us to this point, I can tell you they would be very, very, very proud. They would be very proud of the work that the men and women in this room have done, as well as the resources and the talent that has been brought forth to this 100 years. When I look back and I see icons like a Mel King, Mel King fought for community development. Mel King made sure that we were a part of the urban renewal. When I think of John Goodman, back in the 1930s, he fought with the unions, making sure that the longshoremen was getting their fair share. When you think about the first executive secretary of the Urban League, Matthew Bullock, he was all that in a bag of chips, and some of you may even have met him. But Matthew Bullock, he made sure that people was treated fairly. Even when he went on to the board of parole here in Massachusetts, he made sure people was treated fairly. When he was brought on in 1920 to serve as the first executive director, he knew that it was a tough position to be in, but he took on the challenge. When you look at individuals like Donald Polk, Esquire Donald Polk, he made sure we took in on the fight for AIDS, making sure that we were educated on the AIDS epidemic, and we took on that fight. The Urban League made sure that people was treated equally all the way through. When we look at Joan Wallace Benjamin, in making sure that young people had scholarships, we had the scholarship builders. And those young people was followed from kindergarten all the way through college. 25 young people from Boston Public Schools. The Urban League was in the fight. So diversity and inclusion for the Urban League, it's not a buzzword. It's not a buzzword. We were doing diversity and inclusion before it became that. That's what the Urban League is about. From day one, it was diverse. And as you look around this room, it's the same diversity from day one. We take on the same fight. We take on the same fight since day one. We were here before Robert Half. We made sure that we trained people for work. At one point in time, the Urban League even provided temp services for secretaries. The Urban League has always been in the fight, making sure that we got our equal share. Each one of you, before you leave here today, you should receive a commemorative book, and it will tell you more and more about this great history of this organization. But I can tell you this is an organization without your hard work, support, and talent, it wouldn't have made it to these 100 years. So give yourself a round of applause. Now, that sounds like a golf clap. Darnell, was that a golf clap? Okay. You made it to 100 years. All right. I want to thank many people that helped me put together this book. I want to thank the Mass Convention Center, Kathy O'Brien and her team, as well as Janae. Janae is one of our graduates from our graphic design program who helped to lay out the book, along with our graphic design principal designer. I should know her name. We've been fighting all the way through this. Sydney Janey. But this has been a labor of love, and I want to thank President Williams for allowing us to put our ideas down on this piece of paper, and I hope you enjoy it as well. One other thing I want to just mention, I want to thank Charlotte, Gola, Richie for coming in at the wee hours and giving us an excellent piece. So I want to thank you publicly for doing that. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Come on, y'all. Give it up, William Watkins, doing great things for the Urban League. We got a quick video, but I know you guys have your salads on your table. Go ahead and eat. And dinner's coming up in a few minutes. We got a video, and then I got a couple of quick announcements. Then dinner will be served.
What kind of like was going on inside your spirit or inside your head that kind of created this icon or an activist that we know? It had to be something that went on that really kind of put a burr in your saddle.
Well,
There's a lot?
quite a bit. I've written this book, Chain to Change.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've seen this.
I have not seen it.
All right. There's a second version. And
Okay.
in it, there's a chronology,
Yes, sir.
which kind of shows kind of my life experiences
Okay.
throughout. And so one of the things that catalyzed the role that would play was in 1952
Mm-hmm.
when the Urban Renewal Program came. And you're sitting in a building right now that tells a story about that process in which the Urban Renewal Program, they said that people who lived in slum areas, that the cities could get resources from the federal government so that they could fix them up. And in many of the communities, particularly in Boston, which had population of people whose incomes were low, several whose inhabitants were mostly folks of color, were slated for urban renewal. And so they were clearing spaces and then building different things in them. The fact of the matter is that some of the folks, like at Freedom House and others, began to raise some questions about what that kind of role could be. But in any event, by the 50s, and looking at what was happening, we ended up in a situation where we saw that were going to get moved out, and there was a place in this West End, and a lot of people understand that was the earliest.
What would you say from your vantage point were some of the highlights of your tenure?
Well, actually, I came during a time that the school busing
Okay.
was on everybody's mind.
So Garrity's decision was right in front and center for you.
Yes. We had a training program that we subcontracted training out to the Burdette School.
Mm-hmm.
And we took 30 welfare recipients,
Okay.
female heads of household. And they learned to be excellent secretaries.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I understand one became a lawyer.
Things that you did right, but talk about the climate of America. Talk about the tensions that you were dealing with while you were in the saddle.
Right. Well, so when I first started, the National Urban League had launched a male responsibility initiative.
Okay.
That included a number of different kinds of interventions. I think our Positive Futures program grew out of that, which was a school-based program for young males who were actually living in single female-headed households, and so it was able to provide some male role model and guidance. Then we have the Young Fathers program,
Okay.
which was another way that the Urban League of Eastern Mass decided to operationalize this male
What did
responsibility.
it mean, young father? What
So
were you
this
doing?
was a program, actually one of the first, pretty unique for the time that this was in, for the Urban League to support young men who had fathered children, but who were not assuming their rank responsibility for them. And so the sort of the slogan, you can be a father, but you can always have a baby, but you have to be a father. That doesn't
you can
make
create
you
a baby,
yeah,
but you
but
have
that
to
doesn't
be
make you a
present to be a
That's
father.
right, to be a father. And so the program was designed to help these young guys kind of get on their feet, get back into school if that was what was needed, get employment if that was what was needed, to sort of figure out what their responsibility was and how they were going to be able to play it. So those were two things that were sort of brand new, and I think at that time the intervention for African American men was pretty unusual. There weren't many organizations specifically dealing with that. We had some of the, as you know, this whole thing is very cyclical. We had a time when crime in the streets was high, gun violence was high, then it goes down a little bit, then it comes up, and now we're still
kind of emerging back
to it. So it's
What would you say to the movement as we move forward into the next 100 years? What is that message to the Urban League and all of its supporters and people who have toiled in this field?
I think that there are two affiliates that I think that have done a real good job. I think Miami and Liberty City and Rochester, New York, and even St. Louis, Missouri. What they have done is that they've created a model of independence. In other words, they still do the donations, the grants, et cetera, federal, state, and local grants, but you need to be independently. There's a revenue stream that will support your operations while you are doing these other things, because the riverbed is drying up. There are more nonprofits than there used to be. We used to be NAACP, Urban League, SNCC, CORE. We were the core civil rights organization. Now that's changed, and there are a lot of more other nonprofits doing phenomenal work. So we can't rest on our historical laurels because we're paved the way. We have to be adaptable, innovative, creative, but we need to be, most importantly, independent, that our revenue streams will sustain us. Then your operations will be there for the next 100 years.
Well, President Williams, we want to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Come on, y'all. That's a great piece. And while I have a chance just to say thank you, Darnell, for all the great, great years, his great family, Colleen, Imani. How about a hand for that great family, y'all? Also, want to welcome some folks who are here. We got City Councilor at Large. We got Michelle Wu. Hey, Michelle. Congratulations on your win the other day. And also, Boston City Councilor Kim Janey. Kim, congrats also. Don't forget to get out there and vote November 4th. Also, the 5th, we got it. Let's see. Also, who's here? Oh, Darian. Darian Johnson. Saw Darian up there representing and doing great things with Senator Elizabeth Warren. And the one and only Lori Nelson. We work together doing great things with our city. Sit back, dinner time, and music coming your way.
Don't you know you're my everything?